Here we go.
Hey, welcome to BS and Viewpoints. I am Cuddy. They took away my coastal at the bottom. This is Winston. What's good, brother?
Good fan.
Yeah, they took away my coastal at the bottom. I don't know why. I think they hating on a brother already. I be trying to stay fresh to death all my life. I had to fight. How the weather up north?
Shitty. Shitty in this city. Man, so much snow. It looks crazy out there, man. I see somebody out there talking about they went snowshoeing. They went snowshoeing yesterday. I'm like, damn, got that much snow? You out here walking around in the parks in snowshoes.
Yeah, it's some interesting people who do that. I seen the level 3. I saw the pictures, and I said, "Wait a minute, that don't even look right." The crazy part about it is, back up north, I got a snowboard in my garage. Can't nobody use it. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I got a snowboard in the garage. I can't even use it. I had that thing for a few years. My dad gave it to me when he moved out to Georgia. He gave it to me like, I ain't gonna need this. And I'm like, you get those mild winters where it's like it's not a lot of snow, you can't really use it. But this is the winter I can use it, and I'm not there.
Yeah.
Woo! Doesn't
How it
bother me
happens,
at
man.
all. Doesn't
How it
bother
happens.
me. Doesn't bother me. Yeah, you see Donald Trump, second impeachment, didn't really happen.
Yeah, which I don't understand, but you know,
No.
this is a man that shredded federal shredded files for a case that he was involved in front of federal agents and didn't go to jail. So before he was president, this doesn't surprise me. I kind of expected him not to convict.
Oh, I knew he was going to get convicted. First of all, you had to get 2/3 majority. So what you're telling me is you need 16 Republicans to vote. When they had a chance to even vote to take it to this impeachment trial, only 5 of them voted for it. So you still had 45 say no. Understand, people. Republicans vote among party lines 85% of the time. So, and it is what it is. They look at Trump as almost a messiah figure. And yes, I said messiah, because who else can come to this motherfucker, show up, say we should march down here and take over, and I'm right with you, and never show up. Who else? Everybody gets in trouble. People go to jail. Not him. He hasn't said anything. He hasn't paid any legal fees. But I heard by his second impeachment getting turned away, he may run for another public office. Who would have thunk it?
He knew he was. Dude, they made
No,
him and his family made too much money off of it. They were so busy trying to focus on Hunter Biden. They sitting there. They said Ivanka made 187 million during
man,
that time in that at that job.
politics is a dirty game, man.
Yeah, but that's according to the Constitution. That's illegal as fuck. But no one's pressing charges against them.
No, nobody ever pressed charges against him. It's
The Republicans is what they do. If now to tell you, if Clinton or Obama would have did that same shit after a loss in the election, they'd try to string that motherfucker up, right or wrong. And, and,
any
you know,
Repub- any Republican or Democrat, any Republican would have got away with it. Any Democrat but Obama would probably got away with it. Obama they just didn't like.
no, I don't think any Democrat would have got it. Come on, Bill Clinton got impeached for lying about getting ahead so he wouldn't get a divorce from his wife. He got impeached behind.
Yeah.
They allowed him to finish his term. But he still got impeached.
Okay.
They found him guilty. They just allowed him to finish his term.
Didn't Bush pardon him though afterwards?
I don't know. I just know that he actually got impeached. And Lindsey Graham was the main one talking about they needed to impeach him. It was constitutional and all this shit. But he's the same one saying the exact same opposite. Not Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell.
You didn't realize Lindsey Graham
the exact opposite. He was saying the exact opposite when it came to Trump, but was saying the same thing that we were saying about Trump, about Bill Clinton.
If you didn't realize that Lindsey Graham was a turncoat by now, I can't even, honestly, I can't call him a turncoat. That's kind of disrespectful to turncoats. You can't call them that, man. Lindsey Graham, you should have remember. Look at 2016, what the presidential. I mean, the Republican presidential nomination, how him and Donald Trump clashed, and then when he lost, he fell right into party lines. Republicans fall into party lines. They believe that their party is bigger than their own best interest. Democrats don't. And honestly, it still doesn't matter. Racist Democrats, nobody's going to help us but us. I mean, let's just call it. How many? Give you an example. I was just reading this. One of my homegirls posted up. Extremely smart lady. I will not say her name because I did not have permission to share her name. Let's say you're in a relationship, male or female. I mean, you know what I mean. Male, female, male, female. You're the abused. Somebody's abusing you, like hitting you, beating you up, like domestic violence. Are they going to help you? Like they're going to help you leave, or are they just going to allow you to stay? How many times you ever see somebody beat a domestic violence person and beat the brakes off of you and then help you leave? It just doesn't. It doesn't happen. Yeah. They're oppressing you in a sense, but they're not going to help you. And that's the point I'm making. These people have oppressed us, so why now will they help us? Like, truly help us. Nobody's going to truly help you but you.
And my thing is, like, these people don't even help their own constituents. These people don't even help people that vote for them, but some more people still vote for them. Like, yeah, we don't care that you're struggling. We don't care that this. We don't care that, all the money that was given to help small businesses went to a lot of large businesses. Like, small businesses got like 10,000, 20,000, but fucking the Lakers got a couple million. They're not a small business. Shake Shack got a couple million. They're not a small business. They're a national chain. There are a lot of other ones that got the money. But you see small businesses and people who didn't quite use it directly the way they wanted to going to jail. But these big-ass businesses that didn't need it, who was making billions, even within the pandemic, took the money. And then once they got shamed, like, oh, I'm sorry. But they never gave the money back. They didn't repay it. They just said they were sorry. They didn't use that shit to pay employees because they already had the money to pay employees. And this is the shit that Republicans support. They don't support, like, hey, instead of, making it so that landlords can't kick you out. Because, yeah, there are big landlords who owns a lot of properties, but there are also little landlords who might only own 1 or 2 properties who need that money to, keep those properties. Instead of being like, you know what, we're just going to pay the landlords for you so you ain't got to get stuck in back rent and own these motherfuckers thousands. We'll just make them have to defer it for you. Now these small, tiny landlords can't pay their, their mortgages. So they end up losing their place, which in turn makes you lose your place and there's nothing they can really do about it. But that's their way of thinking. Help the big guy, shit on the little guy, They're pigeons.
Oh yeah. It is what it is, man. That's Washington. This country is a crooked place. Oh, and yeah. I wanted to make this statement. I will never ever again call a Native American Native American. I won't.
You'll never call it what?
A Native American Native American.
Why?
Because they're just American.
Yeah.
They're just American.
Yeah. That is the truth.
Yeah, they're just American. I might call white people white Americans.
I don't think I would call they'll be called Euro Americans.
Yeah, I'll call them Euro American.
And if we're African Americans, they will be Euro Americans, right?
Yeah, and Asian Americans, and Central and South Americans.
Yeah, they're the only ones that don't get like where they come from added to their name.
Yeah, I mean that's white privilege. That's white privilege.
White privilege is storming the Capitol, then getting transferred to a prison that gives you vegan food.
Yeah,
organic food. Like, yeah, no one else gets to choose their menu in prison.
Yes, you can. I want to say if you're, if you say you're, a particular sect, like if you practice Islam, they won't give you pork products.
Yeah, but that's a little bit different. That's a religious thing. If you can't prove that your veganism is a truly health thing, they don't give a fuck. You're in the penal system. Eat what you eat, because I'm pretty sure most of that shit they give you ain't meat anyway.
It's probably not meat.
I'm just saying, most of it's not meat anyway. It's all kinds of beans and other cheap crap that they throw together and call it meat. But
I wonder if it's still soy.
Maybe it's soy, maybe it's sawdust. You never know.
Oh, shouldn't put salt on. I wonder. I'm still kind of confused why we don't eat horse in this country.
Because as Americans, it's against our sensibilities to eat anything that's not in the acceptable five. Pork, poultry, red meat is in bison, cow, or anything bovine mostly. The other countries they eat horse, and at one point in time, Native Americans ate horse, but it's not like it's unhealthy. It's not like it's bad for you. It's just it's not in us to do it. It's like it's not in us to eat like bugs,
Yeah.
Places that eat like grilled scorpions and shit, but over there it's normal. For over here it's not.
Yeah, I've seen some places in Asia where they eat rat. I'm like, ain't going down that road.
Yeah.
Like they was catching them, and that was like they was geeked. I watched this video. I mean, who knows? Who knows how old the video was, or who knows how primitive the people were?
Yeah. Meat's meat in a country where you don't have enough meat.
Yeah, I seen dogs, cats, rats. They say
yeah, meat's meat.
Yeah, they say we're primitive. So sad.
We are. At least in the way we think about people, we're primitive. The way we think about governance, we're primitive. The way we think about social safety nets, we're primitive as fuck compared to the rest of the world. Like I was watching this video about Switzerland, and they're talking about our gun laws and how stupid our gun laws is compared to them. Everybody there is armed. Their whole country is their military. And they showed they had a festival where like the whole festival was them shooting guns. Right?
Yeah.
But no one feels in danger there. Because they're taught how to use it. They're taught how to be emotionally responsible with their weapons. They're taught actually how to use them. And they're taught from a young age. There's like an American there, and he's like doing the interviews and shit, and they're laughing at him like how idiotic he is with his gun. And yeah, they're not allowed to have it's illegal for them to have their gun out in public when they're not using it and have it loaded, which makes sense. But they also give you background checks before they give you a gun. But we feel like it's so wrong to check someone's background here in this country to make sure they're mentally stable before we hand them a weapon.
No, we don't feel like that. That's big government, big corporations. That's the NRA at its core. All the support, the backs, the campaign finance, the donations, the what is it called? What is it called when somebody works for you on House floor, Senate floor? Lobbyists.
Come on, lobbying.
Yeah, all the lobbyists. All the lobbying made this to the point where you're a good red-blooded American. You should be able to have a firearm when it's... No, if you're a sane, morally sound person, you should be able to have a firearm. Some of these people are not sane and morally sound. And that's the issue. Entitlement. White privilege has led to the demise of this country.
Actually, white privilege built this country.
It has, but it's also led to the demise of this country. Because as a people, as a country, we have not grown. We still have... Race is still the never really talked about issue in the room. It's still to this day. It's not really discussed.
It's
It,
discussed around people of color discuss it, but no, yeah, white folks don't discuss it because they feel like there's no problem because they don't see it. It's not their problem.
yeah, but it's the elephant in the room, man. In my opinion, it's still terrible, and it's privilege, and it's like a hierarchy ranking system, where where the darker you are, the lower you are on the totem pole. The lighter you are, the easier it is for you. Even if you're like, let's say, a mulatto American, and you have African as well as Euro American blood in you, it doesn't, like, the lighter you are, the easier it is for you. Like I said,
Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. There are some mixed kids that ain't accepted by black people, ain't accepted by white people, so they're stuck in the middle alone, and
it's
that's a really
it's
horrible place to be.
it's a you could say that, but it's a lot of mixed kids now where that's not even an issue anymore. It's not. Growing up, maybe when we did, yes, but now it's a lot of mulatto kids. It's a lot.
Yeah,
So it's not like it's not prevalent anymore. It's not like it's not widely prevalent like if you were growing up in the 80s or the 90s.
no, there's still a lot of white families that don't accept their mixed nieces, nephews, and grandkids. You know,
Those same white people don't accept black people, so really,
yeah,
what's the difference? What's the
just saying
difference?
that's why they're not accepted by their families, and then sometimes some of the black families don't accept them either because like you think you better than this because you light. No, I think I'm a kid and I want to hang out with my family. You know.
Yeah, I mean, to say it's perfect would definitely be a slap in the face. But to say it's not a whole lot more acceptable, I mean, you got to think we're still not accepted.
True.
so
We probably won't be
so
accepted. It's been 400 years and they still haven't accepted us.
yeah.
Closer to
So
5.
yeah. So think about it. It's been that long. We're still not accepted, and and it is easier to be. It's like I told you, like I said this before on the show, they're pushing the narrative of interracial marriages and relationships. I see a lot of commercials with the white man and the black woman. So, and then you see
Yeah.
the mixed kids in the back. Like, they're pushing this narrative.
No, they pushing that narrative. They only push the white man and the black woman 90% of the time. You really don't see the commercial with the black man and the white woman.
Yeah, every once in a while. But I'm saying they pushing that narrative because you got to think, like I said before, Sisters of Queens, they have the highest graduation rate, college graduation rates among any demographic, black
Yeah.
women. So they're like the apex. It's to the point now I feel like black women, for some people, if you're not going to be with your own, as far as this is what I've noticed commercial wise, they're like white man supposedly apex, black woman apex as far as theirs power couple.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, man. That's been pushed a lot of commercials. And even that show, what is it, Bob Love, Ashabola or something like that, or
Yeah.
whatever that show's called. That's
Yeah.
the same narrative, African lady who's a nurse, this guy named Bob, I guess, loves her, and
Yeah, he owns like his own business and he decides to date her and his family doesn't really accept it. It's just, the normal narrative that's been happening in those kind of shows for decades.
I've never watched the show. I just seen it.
Yeah. I've seen it. I watched it a couple times just to see what it was about.
Yeah, never watched it. Not a big fan because I feel like they're doing. They're just cashing in. Like, they're cashing in. They're pushing the narrative.
But
And
everything's
I believe some people say, well, they're not thinking that good. I'm like, yes, they are. They are pushing this narrative of, they're really pushing this narrative. You don't see much as far as that. I mean, I'm always candid. I'm not gonna miss my words because I was, and I felt like I'm to the point now. I just don't give a fuck. Like, it is what it is. They're pushing that narrative. I believe they've always pushed the narrative that once you get up to a certain status, and you see it, you've seen it in sports, where you get to a certain status, you should marry somebody else. Like, you should marry, like, if you're a great professional athlete, like Kanye West said, you gotta get you a white girl, or a girl that's really light skinned. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't have like a dark skinned sister. I felt like they always, like, I don't know if it was done by us practicing colorism to go as light as you can go, but I felt like it's been done
Yeah, it's
on
the
both
brown bag
sides.
test all over again. But
Huh?
it's a brown bag test and the self-loathing. We have to get
Yeah.
over our self-loathing in order to get better ourselves.
Yeah.
But the question is, how do you do it? How do you get better and look past the self-loathing when most of the time when you're a black kid in school, at least in our city, most of the teachers in the inner city are white teachers. A lot of the black teachers get scattered throughout the other parts of the city that have mostly white students. That's where a lot of black female teachers go. And you rarely ever see a black male teacher. You might see like a basketball coach, maybe a gym teacher. But other than that, and maybe health, because the gym teacher teaches health. But how many black male teachers did you have when you were in school that taught anything other than those two? How many black female teachers did you have?
I'm trying to do the math. Maybe 2, 3 black female teachers, black male teachers. One of them was having my football coach. He did choir, and then I had one. I want to say, what did he do? He probably did health, but he was only strictly a health teacher. He did not teach gym. And
like me, I had
so maybe I had a total of 5 black teachers, 3 female, 2 male.
Yeah, think about it. Like, you get 6 periods, 5 classes a day, 4 years, and let's say you kept those same classes all year. You didn't switch them every semester like you actually do. That's 20 teachers. 6 of them were black. For me, it was like 4 female, maybe 3 male teachers that were all black that I've had my 3 years of high school, and I'm like, I went to a predominantly black school where you expected most of the teachers to be black, but they weren't. So it's like, how do you how do you accept someone like black people with authority, black people to look up to if you don't have any role models other than people you see around you every day? Sometimes your family ain't the best role models. Yeah, some teachers aren't the best role models, but come on, a lot of the few black teachers I had at Scott, they were monsters. I'm sorry, they were. As far as like the people that they were stand-up people. And yeah, you need more of that in a black community, but you don't get it. You get those fresh out of college, trying to get their student loans paid off teachers, white teachers, that they send there first, because that's where you got to be to get your student loans forgiven. So that's why they send the black teachers out to the other schools so that they can be like, oh, well, you didn't teach in the inner city, so we don't have to forgive your loans. But all these white teachers get all their student loans forgiven. And I only know that because I come from a family of teachers. Yeah. And that's kind of messed up, you know? Yeah. You already get every advantage, then they want to give you the advantage that could actually potentially benefit us in more ways than one, by putting more teachers, more people that look like the students in power, and more teachers that might actually be able to empathize and like connect with the students in that situation. You take them out and put them somewhere else and put someone who really doesn't give a rat's ass about them. And even when they try to act like they give a care, it's like condescending and patronizing. You know?
Yeah. I understand. I completely get it. It's tough. Like, teachers definitely deserve to be paid more, but I feel like they should, do a better job as far as pushing kids. And I hate to be so racially motivated in a sense, but I do believe enough schools in the inner city should make it a point to have more teachers of color in the inner city, people who grew up in there who maybe more or less understand the culture than, somebody who's completely not. Like, I give you this microcosm that I've heard. Like, I want to say it was. No, that would be bad. I don't want to be so misquoted. It's like, just different customs from different races of people and different things that that the people who are there get that custom. But if you're never from there, you don't understand the custom, or you don't understand the customs, you don't understand like the give and take that's bought with it. So it's harder for you to not be from there, and then you're there for an ulterior motive to really get the students and to really get the most out of each other. You won't. So you won't, you won't move forward. You won't go where you need to go. But it's definitely a part of life.
Yeah.
Definitely
But then it's also a big part of it is the way we view education.
Yeah. I mean, education's paramount in a sense, but then in another sense, I can understand because I'm gonna tell you this: you can have a PhD in 3 different things, but if you don't work, you don't own a business, and you just work for somebody, and you're not even using your degree, or your degree is not very sought after. You can still be living. You can still be living impoverished. Or you can be a person who never graduated high school, have a GED, own a business, and be 8, 9 figures, even more.
Yeah.
So it's about and that's why I say education is paramount. It's paramount in the sense of can you teach critical thinking? Can you make kids, think outside the box? If you can make a kid think outside the box, then it's paramount. If you can't, and you're just making a kid book smart, but they have no common sense, they have, no, dreams or goals other than they're book smart and they're just going to keep going to school, then you will still fail them even if they have a PhD. Because you never taught them critically thinking. You never taught them how to survive.
Well, I'm just talking about like from our point of view growing up. Being a smart kid in school, you were kind of looked at kind of odd.
Yeah.
In class. Like to the point where actually I stopped like answering questions and shit, and I kind of just became lazy just for the fact that I didn't want to have to keep fighting every day. I almost got kicked out of one of the worst schools in the city for fighting every day, even though I was smart, but everyone kept fighting me because I was smart. So it's just like in our community, we got to change this, even though it's changing a lot and it's changed a whole lot more with black women than it has with black men. It's more acceptable to be highly intelligent as a little black girl. It's highly accepted. It's like kind of nurtured more. It seems like. But when you're an intelligent little boy, it's like talking back. Oh, you think you're smart, huh? Not coming from the women in his family, but coming from the guys, Oh, you think you're a genius now, huh? Or the little kids or the other boys in the neighborhood. Oh, you a nerd, huh? Well, catch these hands, nerd. Want to pick with you. And that's not cool. We need to change that thinking in our communities. Because there's a tremendous amount of hood geniuses out there. Like I was watching the documentary, about they just did on FX about the beginnings of hip hop, right?
Yeah.
They're talking about like all these people who came up, these big names that did all this stuff. They started off selling drugs and did all this stuff, and then transitioned out of the drug game more into like the money side of the hip hop and music industry. And as you're sitting there, you're looking at them, you realize one thing. While the media might have been calling these people monsters and all these other things, you realize that these motherfuckers was actually really smart. They just didn't have no other option.
Yeah.
Why not nurture that intelligence that these kids have? And instead of forcing them to go into selling drugs and stuff, they can maybe do something else. Because these people, honestly, fucking intelligent as hell. I'm like, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an issue. It's
Like they
definitely
said,
things.
when you have nothing, you look up to the person in there who has something. And who was that? That was a drug dealer. When you can't find a job and your parents are struggling, you're gonna look to the person who can employ you. And who was employing people in the 80s, 70s, 80s? The drug dealers.
Yeah.
So then when they sit here and talking all this shit about, well, being like, there's a video I seen with Marjorie Green, whatever the hell her name is, talking about it's not the system keeping you down, it's the gangs that keep you down. No, the system kept us down before the gangs. The gangs came around because of the system. Because there was no opportunities in the black neighborhoods because you redlined us. Y'all won't give us a loan to you guys won't give black businesses, the banks won't give black businesses loans to update, expand, and grow. So they stagnate and die. And then the foreigners, the parasites come in and just hop right in a place where the black business used to be.
Yeah.
If that ain't systematic, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm loving Killer Mike. I invested in I want to say it's BYFC. That's not Greenwood Bank, but that's another like black bank. I want to say it's out in LA. I invested in them a while ago. I try to invest in black businesses is what I do with my funds, but I definitely want to invest in Greenwood, and I definitely recommend people to open an account at Greenwood. No, they did not pay me to say that. It's just about doing better for us. By us. Fubu. For us by us. Do it better for us. And that's one thing we could do, literally support each other financially in financial endeavors. Like you would have caught me 5 years ago. I'd have saw somebody wearing like a Gucci and I'd have been like, oh, that's dope. But now I see somebody wearing Gucci like, what are you doing? Like I'm down here where a lot of people are superficial currently, and I see people, oh, I gotta go in here, I gotta go in there, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, if you got it, I still wouldn't give them the money because I would create my own. You know what I mean? Like they really don't. They only like you financially. They don't like you as a person. They don't support your people.
They don't support you. They don't respect you. A lot of them don't even see you as human. So why support them financially, right?
Yeah, but I see people, living. I guess living, as Robin Leach would say, in opulence. At least on the physical sphere of what they rocking, the Gucci, the Louis, brand new car, and I just be like, hey, you got it. I told myself I'm not trying to work for somebody forever. And now it's like I was watching this video, and it's just like I just want my money to continue to work for me. I got to take more money. My goal is to take more money and invest it. And Dude gave this figure. That's what I was trying to get. If you have a 14-year-old child, which for most of us is not too late, and you invest, I want to say it was either 6 or 10 grand. By the time they're 60, they would have 1.1 million if you invested it. I've completely forgot what it is, and I need to pull that link up. It's actually on the Breakfast Club. It was mentioned by Wall Street Trapper, who's an amazing guy. If you're on IG, follow Wall Street Trapper, YouTube, Wall Street Trapper. Like, he gives you a lot of things. But if you have a 14-year-old kid, picture if they're even younger, and you invest, I want to say $6 grand. By the time they're 60, which is 46 years, that investment would be 1.1 million with the interest rate that it had. I completely forgot what it is. If you can follow it, great. If not, I'm definitely going to try to do it. I got a 9-year-old, so I'm trying to get started early, trying to maybe put $6 grand up. So maybe when she's 60, she can maybe have a few $1,000,000, or she can just live life and make her money always work for her. Empowerment. That's what I can do for my neck of the woods.
Yeah, all we can do is be better stewards to the next generation, and some of us failed.
Yeah, I think in a sense, as far as my son, I failed, but I'm trying not to fail with my daughter. I'm trying not to. Crazy as I am, I'm 40. I still want more kids. I don't know why. Time's running short.
Yeah.
I'm really sure if it doesn't happen in the next 2 or 3 years, it's probably a wrap.
Yeah, same way I feel, but I'm not going to force anything, fam.
It's same here. I'm not gonna force it, but it is what it is. I think I'm about talked out because I just did something earlier. Keep it pushing. Any last remarks?
No, just everyone be safe in this crazy ass weather that we have all over the country.
Remember, no matter who you're around, even if they look like you, they might not think like you. That's all I gotta say, because there's so many people I see that look like me, and then we get to talking on politics and racial issues, and everything they see, they make up an excuse for every way they've been mistreated. And I'm like, maybe it's just sometimes it's not a coincidence.
Yeah, that's that Ruckus syndrome, though.
Yeah, some people just think everything that's happened bad to them is a coincidence. I don't. I believe some of them are just, sometimes I lost, but I believe some of it is racially motivated. I also believe that I can make it better, and that I'm going to make it better. And it's about doing the work.
Some of that shit is your fault, though, too.
Yep. I tell everybody, if you can afford it, if you think about it, it's really not that much. $10 a day, $140 bi-weekly, but just every day get $10 and invest it.
Yeah.
Every day, $10 over the course of a year. That's $36.50. Do that 10 years is $36,000. But if the interest and this, that, and the other, if you put $36,000 in the market and it just went up incrementally, let's say in a little bit, you could have $100,000.
Yeah.
Easy, like easy. Some people are multimillionaires would invest in $10,000. Just invested at the right thing at the right time.
Yeah.
Just stay steadfast. Invest, because it's more important to make your money work for you than you work for your money, because you only got so many hours in a day. You can work a job 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. Oh, you're a hard worker, but you just worked away most of your damn life. That's why I didn't want that to happen to me. I'm determined for that not to happen to me, because I work those jobs while I'm working 70 hours a week. Oh, you look like a hard worker. I'm like, but I have no life. I have no life. I get off, I go to sleep, then I might, watch a movie, go to dinner, and then it's time to go back to work. I'm working 6 days a week, 70-something hours. I worked 100 hours in a week. You work 45 days on, 10 days off, 16 hours a day, every day. I've done that. I worked over 100 hours in a week. And you don't have no life, you just work. You get off, you might go home, watch a little TV, take a shower, get something to eat, and then go back to sleep, because I got to wake back up in 6 hours and go to work.
Yeah, believe me, I understand that. I did 7 days a week for 6 months straight. Then you get a couple weeks off. Then you go right back. 7 days a week, 6 months straight, 10 to 14 hours a day. So, yeah, I know what you mean by that, fam.
So we're trying to give y'all knowledge that we didn't have. But everybody like, oh, y'all working good, y'all making a lot of money, but those are years of your life you don't have.
Yeah.
And at some point, do you want to live a long life with high quality, or do you want to live a short life where you just gave it all to somebody else?
Yeah.
All right, brother. You could just about stop the tape, because I'm out.
All right, cuzzo.
Y'all have a good one. BS and Viewpoints, Cuddy. They forgot the Coastal. Winston.
All right.
Y'all have a good one. Stay safe. Love y'all. Deuces. Bang, 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 bang.